What we want to know is, who was the first American woman to go up in this? Well, what you have to do now is take the second letter of her surname and write it down. Write down the second letter of her surname. And we'll stay in space and hear what the critics have to say about this.
I like Blake 7 because it's a good programme. It's different from some science fiction films and serials. They have good actors on it. It's well presented, I think. Though it really was spoilt at the end when they just killed them off. I mean, I think it would have been better if they'd left off at another series instead of just killing them off at the end, like just as they did. I mean, it just seems so stupid after they'd had so many adventures to get out of and so many more difficulties than just being there and killed.
I don't reckon Blake 7's that good because they have almost the same scenes. Like always see this spaceship going through space, the same sort of theme. And when they get to places, they usually use the same sort of setup. And I think that when they have the guns and they're almost sort of invisible and they can do, they can move to other planets and places like that. I think that's a bit like Star Trek because you get the beam me up Scotty sort of thing. I don't reckon it's that good at all.
I like Blake 7. I like the graphic displays and Avon with his dry sense of humour. And Villa, he was always frightened of going outside, but when he got there, he was useful.
All the computers were part of the team as well, especially Aurak. I think he had a sense of humour that helped them when they were in difficulties.
I didn't like Blake 7 very much because when they landed on any planets, it was always filmed in the same place, in a quarry or in a wood.
But what really spoilt it for me was the ending, when they really literally massacred them.
And you can see the strings on the models sometimes.
Well, compared to Star Wars and Star Trek, rate Blake 7 0 out of 10. Maybe because more money's been spent on the two American ones.
Are you ready, Aurak?
Of course I am.
Then do it. Goodbye.
Slave, any crash systems still functioning? Put them online.
Yes, sir. Am I to understand that you're going to try and ground the ship, sir?
I'm going to turn it first.
The ground is very close, sir.
I know that!
Our critics talk about the models, and on the programme Small World, Mat Irvine, a visual effects designer at the BBC, who's worked on programmes such as Doctor Who, Blake 7 and many others, showed us a few of them.
The craft being used on our moon base illustrate a fair variety of the types of model work. At the very simplest, the little moon base buggy has freewheeling wheels and is pulled on a piece of nylon. Very little, hopefully, can go wrong with it. Slightly more complex, the lunar dozer has got built-in motors and drive. These came from a commercial tank kit. The lead supplying power. Extremely noisy, but fairly effective. On the extreme end of the scale, the moon buggy here is radio-controlled. You can see the interior of it is very much packed out with all the gear, the motor that drives it, batteries, and the servo that works the wheels. And finally, there's the little flying craft hanging by steel wires on a carriage and steel bar overhead. And of all the models, this one in particular emphasises one aspect very important to model work, which is high-speed filming. All these craft have inherent movements built into them, which the full-size counterpart hasn't. And to try and get over this, we shoot at double, treble, and sometimes even greater speeds, so that when we finally project the picture at the normal speed, all these movements have been ironed out.
And now the second part of the competition. Who is at present America's First Lady? Who is America's First Lady? Now, what I want you to do is write down the first letter of her surname. Write down the first letter of her surname. Do you enjoy competitions, Sue?
Well, I actually do, but I've had little or no success with any of them. I won a plastic cruet set for guessing how many beans in a bag, and that's it.
And where did you start your career?
Well, very illustrious chorus girl I was in a musical written by, is it Sigmund Romberg? I bet they'll be writing in telling me I'm wrong. The Desert Song. Now, for those of you at home who've never heard of it, ask your mothers, because it's so old. Of course, I'm not as old as the show, but, you know, I was in the 10th revival.
So you've appeared in musicals and pantomimes and plays and so on. Which do you think you prefer?
Oh, it's ever so difficult, actually, to answer that. I like them all equally, as long as they're interesting to do and the material and the subject is good and it's fun. You get a lot of enjoyment out of it. It doesn't really matter to me, as long as it's a good piece.
Well, we know you sing very well. Recently, we saw you singing on television. Which really gives you sort of most pleasure, singing or acting?
Oh, crikey. She come up with all these difficult questions. I like them both, very much indeed. But I think I've got to say that singing just has the slightest edge on acting. Just the slightest more.
Well, let's have a listen now to your tonsorial capabilities as we listen to a song you sang on The Grace Kennedy Show.
If my friends could see me now, woo! If they could see me now, my little dusty group. I'm traipsing round this $1,000,000 chicken coop. I hear my buddies saying, crazy what gives? Tonight she's living like the other half lives. All I can say is, wow, wait till the rhythm and rap. See just exactly how I sign my autograph. What a setup, holy cow. They'll never believe it, what a business. Holy cow, they'll never believe it, what a setup. Holy cow, they'll never believe it. If my friends could see me now.
I hope your pencil...